Hi there. So I'm playing with my first live video stream. So if you're on here and you're commenting and I don't answer, please bear with me. It's a learning curve for me. So I have 20 milliliters of epoxy ready to go. It's really thick right now because it's been just barely over freezing today. So that's actually going to work in our favor because normally I would want to let this thicken up before using it. So I made some really pretty earrings the other day. This is one of the molds. I poured a couple yesterday with this other new glitter that I got. But everybody ranted and raved about the earrings I have in my ears right now that are made out of this shape right here. Super cute little diamond shapes. It reminds me a lot of my favorite Kendra earrings that my coworkers bought me. So I've got that nice and mixed up. There's lots of air bubbles. I'm not super concerned about that right this minute because I'm going to show y'all a trick I learned from a video on the Nola's website, Mr. Nola's Glitter. I'm not like associated with them in any way. I just watched one of her videos when I was trying to figure out how to do geode coasters, and it kind of blew my mind a little bit. So when I had to get groceries, I grabbed one of those. So I've got a fair amount of glitter in here. I don't want so much glitter that the epoxy can't cure, but I don't want it so thin that it ends up too transparent. I'll actually show you what it can look like if you're not careful with that, because when I made the first set, my epoxy was really warm when I started pouring it, and it turned out pretty transparent. I'm gonna try and get that to focus. See how clear that is compared to that one? So that's what I'm trying to avoid, is getting that too much. So you can see the air bubbles in here. Those are going to go away in just a little bit. So I haven't used these kind of wider, they're more square molds. So I'm just going to pour it right there. Trying to be careful where it's not super duper thick, chunking out of there, but you don't want it too sparse because then you're having to deal with filling in the gaps too. So I like to fill it to just above capacity. It kind of bubbles out just a little bit. Sorry about that. I messed up. I was trying to dismiss a notification and I accidentally clicked on it. I have do not disturb on, but I got a text from someone that's in my emergency contact, so go figure. So I like it to be just above full, just so that it doesn't have that sunken in hard corner feel. Does that make sense? I hope so. So sometimes just one little drop right there on the hole. It's like a peg for the jump ring. I bought a set of these one day last week, and it had a flaw in it. This one cavity doesn't have the peg that it needs for the jump ring hole. And I messaged the company and said, hey, I've never had this happen before. How do you want me to do it? You want me to do it through Amazon or do you want me to do it through you? And I had a replacement set within days. They have great customer service. I did get these. This is not sponsored in any way. Hi, Jessica. Great name. I'm actually going to look into getting cross molds. I went to church for the first time in a while today, and I kind of was digging that whole idea to maybe coordinate with my outfits. Anyways, so they are not sponsoring this in any way. I've bought several molds from them, and man, they just took care of it. So since I didn't have to return it, now I've got 2 of these sets, which is nice. It's almost too cold to be doing this. I should have probably warmed this up just a teeny bit more. because it's definitely not pouring where I want it. But that's okay. We'll make it work. So I'm going to try and show you these bubbles real quick. See all those bubbles? I'm just going to hold it closer to the camera so you can see it. This is where the magic happens. Okay, ready? I think I've got a good angle. Did you see that? I am so easily entertained. That's another ongoing joke at the office, is how easy it is to make me happy. So I'm going to come back and do this in a little while. Oh, sorry, I didn't have that one on camera. I forgot I zoomed in. They laugh at me for being so easily entertained. It's quite entertaining for everyone. So I'm just going to do the same thing on these really quick. And then I will come back after it's had time for the bubbles to rise. I'll come back and do it again. But first I want to scoop out just a teeny bit. I got this one a little too full. Sorry if my head's in the way. I got a big noggin. Okay, that should be better. You don't really have to clean up the edges, but I like to just because it'll make it a little easier in the end result. Because if you keep your edges fairly clean, you won't have the weird little blips. That's not the real word for it, but I don't know what they're technically called. So just getting it decently cleaned up will be helpful. And this one actually has too much in it. If you get too much, they'll kind of make that weird dome more accentuated than you probably want. So I still have almost 10. So next, I'm kind of digging this asymmetrical shape. It's the shape that I just showed you with the a little too translucent. I also used this on a set yesterday. I like it. Oh, sorry. Told you this is my first live. This is the glitter I'm using. It's called Amour from Franz, glitteramore.com. It's pink, but it has a green shift. So I wore it today to church with my teal top and my teal glitter Converse. And I feel like it matched pretty good. It wasn't perfect. So I'm going to do this now. And if I have any more, I'm going to do the triangles on the other mold because everybody really liked them at work. So I'll probably do a couple extras of that shape if possible. That other glitter that I showed you, the black and white and red, it's super cute. It's neither one of these are available on the site yet. Fran does these monthly subscription boxes. It's like Christmas every month. I love it. I've had probably 4 so far, and I have not yet been disappointed in what came in. So this is a little too full. Sometimes it's just so hard to control. But that's okay. We can easily kind of shave that with a razor blade after it's cured. Pretty easily. If you go too crazy with it, you'll end up with a weird dull ledge. But that one's actually really good. So I'm going to pop these bubbles. Are you full? Yeah, you're still too full. You can kind of tell when it's still too full because it's kind of bulging over the edge just a little bit. If you get it full enough that it domes up a little, you won't have rough edges. If it domes up a lot, you'll have a weird bulby look. Sorry for my sniffles. It's cold in here. It was 31 when I let the chickens out this morning, and it's only 49 now. So I'm just going to melt those bubbles. You're not holding the flame on there a long, long time, and I'm not touching the tip to that. Well, I did that time, but I'm not touching it to the epoxy or the silicone mold. So it's allowing it to kind of give it enough heat but not damage the silicone, because silicone's pretty heat resistant. So I think I've got just enough to do these and maybe one extra. I like the idea of doing them in pairs. My very first set of molds for jewelry shapes of any sort, I only got one of each shape. I think it was more intended to be pendants than earrings. It was really obnoxious trying to figure out how concentrated the glitter was on one round versus the other. Hopefully that makes sense. I think it does. So some of them would come out a lot thicker, and some of them would come out like wafer thin, weird looking with the weird ledges that I was talking about. The easiest way I can describe that weird ledge is, remember in science class, the teacher would say, now get eye level with it, and you measure the bottom of the meniscus. So I graduated like 20 something years ago, so I may not be saying the right thing, but you get the idea. Once again, I got these a little too full. The advantage to working with the epoxy a little on the thicker side is that the glitter doesn't sink. I've had some of the very first ones that I made, the glitter just sunk. I have this cute little Lego mold, and it's intended to make ice cubes, but this ding dong tried to make crayons out of it. Fail. Didn't work. It was not made for that. So I cleaned it out, and when I started doing epoxy stuff, that's what everybody has on their desk now. I talk about my coworkers a lot because they're basically my family. I have a husband and kids, but I definitely spend more time with my coworkers, and I've worked at the same place for coming up on 10 years. So I try and make them little things because it makes them happy. Everybody has a coaster. Everybody has a little gemstone made of epoxy and my new glitters. And they get just as excited as I do on glitter mail day. It's great. I've got just enough. I think I can do another kind of thin something. So I think I'll do this one, just because it's really thin and not super needy as far as the amount goes. I'm just kind of pouring it just like that. I know my hand is in the way, sorry. Okay. Done. There's like literally a drop left. Not enough to count or save or whatever. Okay. So I'm going to go back over, while this settles into place, I'm going to go back over these original ones that we did with the lighter. Yep, I can see some air bubbles popping. There was a lot on that one. One advantage to, what are you doing? One advantage to doing your epoxy when it's really warm is the reduced number of air bubbles. I have no idea what's going on with this lighter right now. What is going on? Like it's having a little spaz attack. Anyway, so you get reduced air bubbles with warmer epoxy. I normally have my, I think they call this technical difficulty. There we go. Okay, I think that's good for now. I normally have my epoxy in these condiment bottles. They get so gross around the outside, so I usually wrap it with a paper towel. That makes it easier for me than using the big giant jugs, and go from there. So is anyone interested in me putting the hardware on some of the earrings that are already done? If you're not, you can tune out right now, but if you are, stay tuned. I'm just moving all this out of the way. I've got some jump rings ready. Ooh, I gotta put something down. I got epoxy on there. All right, Jessica, you got it. So I have several sets of earrings that I can assemble. I've got 3 from yesterday. Oh, I didn't finish my thought earlier about the subscription boxes. Anyways, like I said, I don't get anything from Fran except for practically all my glitter. I don't get a kickback. I just asked her if it was okay if I mentioned her stuff on here. So we have a couple of pliers here. I have no idea where my actual jewelry pliers are that don't have teeth. These things are old as the hills. You can kind of see the teeth if it'll focus. There we go. So they have these little teeth on them. I'm actually going to use that flat part right there as much as possible without the teeth because I don't want it to make little mar marks on the rings. So I do it this way. That's how I opened up a whole lot of my keychains that I made. So this one has kind of a weird shape to it. So I'm doing, I may not have opened that enough. Just kind of doing it around like that. Nope, we're not doing that one today. I need bigger jump rings for that one. I'll do these guys. This epoxy, these mold sets came with some eye pins, which if you were gonna make them kind of dangle from something, that's perfect. It came with this size jump ring, this size jump ring, and some hooks. It's a really pretty bright silver versus some of the darker silvers that you see. I made some with these oil rubbed bronze looking earrings. I'll take mine out real quick. So this is what I had in my ear just now. It's a more of an oil rub bronze. It's really pretty with this particular glitter. Okay, back to business. I am so ADD, it's kind of ridiculous. Anyways, so we're gonna do that. Gonna open it up just enough there. We're gonna loop it through that hole right there. All right, so I guess you're gonna give me trouble too. Good gravy. So I have these other, almost like a pendant charm type thing that I can use for that. So, plan C. We are going to do these guys. I'll stop at Hobby Lobby tomorrow, probably after work. They have several sizes of those. Actually, let me look one more place. I have these jump rings here that I use for my keychains. Oh, there was a stray in there. They're really big. It might look really dumb. It's not the same color. We're not going to do that. Anyways, it was a nice thought. So I'm just using those flat parts there to open up. We're going to do that. So it hangs pretty easily. So I'm not going to close it yet because we want to go ahead and do our jump ring. Her hook. So because of the way these are hanging, if I do it this way, it's going to make the earring hang like this. So what I like to do before I attach it in any way, I hold it steady here and then rotate it. Okay, fail. I did it on the bronze ones. There we go. Okay. Just rotate it 90 degrees. There will be some that break. The last time I did this, it broke like probably 25% of the time. So now you're just going to bring that back together just like that. You're just rotating it so that it closes up completely. If it's not complete, this could slide out on you on an accident. Yeah, so now when it hangs, it'll be like that. So we'll do another one too. Could be too that I just rotated it too fast. I work with glasses all day, and I feel like sometimes if I go real slow, even the most mangled glasses will live. But if I go too fast, it definitely works against me. So I actually put that one on backwards like a ding-dong. I can tell because of that tiny little lip. You can kind of see it. See that? That's how I can tell it's the back. It's okay that it's a little bit because it's on the back. Even with my hair pulled up all day, I wouldn't be worried about that showing. So one way you can make sure that you have it on there right is kind of hang it like that and then put it on accordingly. I'm going to go back to that and that. Yeah, just like that. So I'm actually going to fix this one before I forget and accidentally give these to someone. That's that. That's all I'm going to do right now. I got to head over to my sister's house and do all that kind of fun family stuff. So that's the gist of it, though. These make really easy gifts. Like I said, I'm making all of those for my coworkers. So for pennies, I was able to make them a little something. Okay, I really want to do one more set. But there won't be anything new, so if you're tired of watching, you don't feel obligated, obviously. I love those. I love that shape. I have another glitter too that will be in the next batch. It's called Romeo. It's darker. It doesn't have any white. It has pale pink, black, and red. It's a hex cut. I like it a lot. And then there's also Juliet that will probably get a little bit. Can you tell this month's box was themed? Oh, and there was one more. Black Tie Affair. It's just plain black. I've been needing a black chunky glitter. All right, so another way you can tell if it's the back or not, you can sometimes see and feel that some of these have floated to the top. Come on. Focus. Ah, forget it. It won't show. I can't get it closer, but you can see it pretty good. I'm going to do that. Rotate that nice and slow. Hope it survives. Yep, okay. So I'm going to pretend like it's hanging and drop it down the back. Hi from Denver. I have family not too far from you. All right, and we're just going to do that. I feel like you guys sent your weather our direction last week. We literally had 70 degrees in the day, and by morning, that one broke. By morning, we had snow on the ground. I mean, Texas has like the weirdest whiplash weather. It's really common for some of these to break when you're twisting them like that because it's not really made for that. if you're skilled enough, you could probably convert these eye pins into ear hooks. That is not me. I know enough to be dangerous. I'm a Jill of all trades and master of none. So once again, this is my back. Yeah, crazy weather. So that's my back. So I'm going to do this right here. Actually, before I do that, I want to show you, this has one of those little ledges that I was talking about where it kind of spilled over the edge. See that little thing right there? Or literally, if anyone peeled potatoes the old-fashioned way, like with your grandma or your great-grandma, that's what you're doing. You're literally just kind of skimming the edge right there. There's a perfect little moment there. Anyways, I used to spend summers with my great-grandmother. So some of the things I say and do kind of don't really go with my age, but that's okay. I don't want to act my age. So I'm going to pretend like it's hanging and go like that. And back to closed again. It doesn't always autofocus like it should. Sorry about that. Voila. Okay. So that really is all I'm going to do. I really have to get out of town. Does anyone have any questions that I might be able to answer? If you think of anything, pop them up real quick, and I'll do my best to answer them. But otherwise, I'm sure. Thank you, Gianna. I love this glitter. It should be live on the site, on her website, usually the month following the subscription box. I really love it. It's not really showing all the green shift in the video. I think it's showing more orangey gold, but it's definitely more of a kind of a lime green almost. I think you can, like I said, this is my first live. Oh, thank you very much. I will have a safe trip. Luckily, it's only maybe 45 minutes away. This is my first live. I think you can probably still comment after the live is over, and I will try and get to it. But on this big giant one, I am going to see if I can't find some of this size that aren't so beefy. These are the heavy duty ones that you want to use for your key rings. If any of y'all do key ring molds or anything, you need something stronger than this, because I can literally bend this one with my hands if I want to. It's not comfortable, but I can. So you definitely don't want to use these as your keychain stuff. So anyways, that's that. I don't see any more comments, questions, or anything like that popping up. So you guys have a good one. If you have any questions later, don't hesitate to send me a message and I will do my best to answer. You can also, if you need help with anything, I do have a Facebook page that I use for like my crafty stuff, but I'll be glad to answer any questions if you want to send it to me. It's the same exact title or name, The Purple Stitch. So I've been able to see some really cool projects through that particular method. Some people have sent me some of their finished product and it was great. I love it. So like I said, I'm not a master of any kind of anything, but if I can answer your question, I will. You have a good one. Stay warm.